Namaskar. Human life is nothing else but social life. When you meet other people, but we all know that every human is different. Every human has his nature, his habit, the value system. Every human reacts to different situation in a different way. So with such atmosphere, how to maintain relationship, we have to really give a thought to it. I give you one example. A father decided to take his 1.5-year-old son to the mall one day. He felt that it would be a fun outing for them as they had not gone out for many days. When they arrived at the mall, the child was fascinated with all the bright lights around, with people around, with little stalls around, little candies around, and he was very happy. But there was a toy store which drew child's attention at once. While walking past the toy store, the boy began shouting and yelling, attempting to communicate to his father that he wants to go inside. Since the child was yelling, father started speaking, said, Rohit, no, this isn't right, the father said. The child became more aggressive, throwing his tantrums. He was so loud that everyone in the mall turned to look at this scene. Rohit, no, stay calm, father calmly said. At one point, child simply jumped out of the cradle and ran towards the toy shop. He was crying. The father simply followed him, picked him up, and put him back into cradle. There was one lady who was witnessing all these things. She came closer and approached the father and very calmly said, Sir, your son Rohit is really lucky to have such a father who has so much of patience. If I was there instead of you, I would have beaten up my child. I couldn't tolerate all this nonsense what child is creating. To which the father replied, Madam, let me tell you, Rohit is not my son's name. It is my name. I am trying again and again to convince myself, to tell myself to remain calm and not get angry and irritated. So, what does this beautiful story teach us? It teaches us a very important lesson that we have to work on ourselves to maintain relationship healthy. In our relationship, we expect everybody else to adjust, to behave according to what we think it is right. But relationship do not work that way. If you want any relationship to succeed, you must first make necessary changes in your behavior. Many disputes could be resolved by working on yourself because relationships are all about working on your reactions, not on somebody else's reaction. Each individual is unique. Therefore, rather than correcting their ways, you should work on bettering your ways to sustain relationship. We usually blame the other person in our relationship. But the solution to any problem is not to blame others, but to develop a let go attitude if you want the relationship to get strong. Instead of criticizing the others, take a moment to analyze the situation. Majority of the time, it is our foolishness or absent mindedness that causes problem. Instead, work on your mind and your action before pointing out at others. Also understand that the relationship are not meant to be happy and cheerful all the time. It also consists of struggles and trials. To maintain a strong bond, you also have to be understanding. Some people get irritated just because their loved one demands more time from them. However, their demand is valid, and you should understand what your parents, spouse, or children want and why they act the way they do at times. Relationship requires continuous effort. You have to work on your relations before judging others' relations as wrong. Understand, a relationship is a beautiful bond, and each relationship you share is unique and special. So, understand, in relationship, You have to work on yourself. This way, not only you will grow, but your relationship also would grow, and it would be beautiful, happy, and very healthy relationship which you will enjoy in your life. Namaskar.